are neural networks like human brains. Artificial neural networks (ANNs) are inspired by the structure and function of the human brain, but they are not truly like human brains in a fundamental sense. While both systems involve interconnected units that process and transmit signals, the similarities are mostly superficial. The differences in architecture, learning processes, adaptability, and complexity are significant and shape how each system operates. At a basic level, neural networks are modeled after the way biological neurons work. In the human brain, neurons receive input from other neurons through synapses, process that information, and transmit signals to other neurons. Similarly, in artificial neural networks, artificial neurons receive input values, apply a mathematical function, typically a weighted sum followed by an activation function, and pass the result on to other units. This structure enables ANNs to perform tasks like image recognition, language translation, and even playing games at a superhuman level. However, the brain is vastly more complex than any artificial neural network. A typical human brain contains approximately 86 billion neurons and trillions of synaptic connections, whereas even the most advanced neural networks today use millions or, at most, billions of parameters. Moreover, the way biological neurons operate is not purely mathematical. They involve complex biochemical processes, including neurotransmitters, ion channels, and dynamic thresholds for activation. These biological mechanisms give rise to cognitive abilities like consciousness, memory, and emotions, which artificial neural networks cannot replicate. Another key difference lies in learning. Neural networks learn through algorithms like backpropagation and gradient descent, adjusting their weights to minimize errors based on a loss function. This is a very structured and supervised process. In contrast, human brains learn in a more flexible, unsupervised, and adaptive manner. Humans can generalize from very few examples, transfer knowledge across domains, and learn continuously throughout life. Neural networks typically require large amounts of labeled data and retraining when the input distribution changes. Furthermore, neural networks do not have awareness, intentionality, or understanding. They detect patterns and correlations in data, but they do not know what those patterns mean in a human sense. A neural network trained to recognize cats does not understand what a cat is. It simply finds statistical patterns in images labeled as cat. Human brains, on the other hand, develop semantic understanding and emotional responses, which contribute to conscious experience. That said, studying the similarities and differences between ANNs and brains is a fruitful area of research. Neuroscience has inspired improvements in machine learning, and conversely, ANNs provide models that help scientists explore how learning might occur in the brain.